Let's get into it.
Okay. Okay. I can. Oh, okay. Should I just share my video?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let me just make sure you've got permission. You have permission.
Yay! So I'm actually going to show you a video of Evie, one of my new Labradors. Yeah. And just share screen. Start broadcast. It didn't ask me about optimizing. Optimize the video on.
Yay.
And then we go to YouTube. Okay, so this is long, but I'm gonna go through it at speed. So a little bit of context. This is Evie. And her and Dallas, I just got them. I used to handle them, so I know them reasonably well. But they've just been kind of deployed for a while. So they've just had sort of maintenance training.
It's
Can you see
within
it?
the bollards, yes.
Okay. I'm like, is it the entire area? Or
I can make it a smaller
Can you guys
subset
see
if
it?
you want to.
Yes.
It looks
Okay,
good, yeah.
So they've just sort of had maintenance training for a while. Historically, Dallas could search for, as long as we were doing, 20 minutes off on, 10 minutes off, and resting in the shade, she could just search for hours. And Evie kind of had a couple hours in her of that rotation. But I usually did shorter searches with her, like 10 on, 10 off, because she was quite young when we deployed her, just because it was helpful to have a second dog in case of injury or whatever and get her the experience. So it wasn't I wouldn't have otherwise probably deployed her, and she was really good with all the safety stuff. So she basically, Julie describes her as needing more drive. I'm not totally convinced that that's exactly the right description, but basically at some point she gets tired, I think, or is this is boring, and kind of loses focus, and then she becomes what I describe as trudgy. So I'm just going to show a little bit of us searching at the beginning and then move on to the bit where she gets trudgy. So this is a 13-minute search, and she gets tired around the 8-10 minute, between I think it's around 11 minutes. So yeah. And then I just kind of wanted to pick it apart about all the different things I could build to improve that. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So I just started it off.
But definitely within the bollards.
Hey. So you can see at the start, she's out, she's checking things out, moving around more kind of rapidly. So I'm also trying to work on getting her to go places,
it's probably
by just
it's
looking
almost
at them
probably a perfect
and
head care,
figuring out
actually.
better ways of communicating in more open spaces, because the projects we worked on before, they literally would search along the rock wall because it's we were in a cliff, and we specifically taught them to target culverts and rocks and holes and stuff, because that's where the bats lived in first. So they have an interesting learning history from that project, 2.5 years of targeting just that. And then Julie, I'm pretty sure, always puts they're trained on Kong. Julie, I'm pretty sure, always puts the Kong in something. I've kind of noticed that they're less interested in searching or skip over the grass.
Mm-hmm.
So they feel we're sending through Dallas. I'll show it. Posted group the comparison video for people who are interested. Of Dallas doing basically the same search. She just zooms around like a crazy idiot, and she's definitely working on the grass. But Evie, so I kind of re-queued her there because she just came to visit me for no reason. And I'm just walking kind of a transect. Okay, cool. So we're just working. I'm just gonna fast forward now. Yeah, that keeps going until when the trudge bit starts, which I think is around here. Yeah. A little bit. She's still going. Oh, no, it's just beforehand. I see around 8 minutes. Okay, so she starts.
Mulched area.
Yeah, I'll do a little bit. So she starts just kind of like, oh, maybe I do a heel. Like I'll just trot along next to you. So instead of being like, she does search also part of the learning history because the rocks would have been quite close. But like when she gets odor, she pulls
It's in
ahead.
mulched
It's
area.
hard for me to tell if she's just like, there's no odor here, or we're on grass, or if she's actually not, or if she's like tired. Like it's hard for me to tell the difference.
Yeah.
And you sort of see she ate chicken bone, and so we had to do like a little emergency there. That's the main safety thing I have to work on, is not eating around shit. And then once I re-cue her, and we're on this more complex, interesting environment with like more trees and more stuff going on, then she starts like searching again.
Okay.
So you can kind of see that happening. She's doing that better here. There's like human shit in the park. It's really disgusting. And then and we'll just watch the last couple minutes as we do the last transect, and she picks up the odor. I do think she's getting tired because she does start to check in with me a little more.
Yeah.
But she is still searching. I get more emergency. I panicked because I'm used to having Lulu and she's super reactive. So we just fast forward this whole like interaction with a random stranger and the dog. I'm being like, no, they're working. I don't want to play. But you can see the dog's still there. She's, she was perfect. It's kind of nice to have dogs that literally are genuinely dog neutral. They could not care less.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And what is
Either
she
way.
searching for, Megan?
Pardon?
What is she searching for?
She's trained on, and her neutral odor is Kong pieces. So that's what we're looking for. This one is about the size of like a peanut butter M&M. So yeah, I just re-cued her again because I saw her like kind of coming back into heel, and asked Jeremy to make sure I knew where it was, so I didn't like. So we didn't have to do 3 more transects. I wanted her to kind of get a reward and have a really good experience at the end. You can actually see her get it there.
How many has she found at this point?
How many has she found? Oh, heaps. She's hundreds and she's been doing it for like 2 years.
No, what I mean is on this particular search.
No, this is this is kind of a test. I wanted to see how she went with a longer search, so this is the only one.
So there's none to find, or how many are there any to find?
No, there's one here. She just like is being crap and not indicating, but I could tell she found it. So she again was tired and like just did her freeze instead of the full drop. Which they were shaped to do a freeze and then the drop added later. And I often find in difficult conditions or if they're really tired, I won't get the full indication. So that's something I want to build, but that's not the thing that I'm like concerned about here.
Yeah.
So it's interesting if anyone wants to see. I think I did something to the scent. So like as we go past, now you know where it is. See if you can pick up when she kind of gets a whiff. So she picked it up there, and I was like, and then she kind of paused. So I sent her back to tell me. I was like, okay, well, have you got it? and then you can see her source it after that. And then she's like,
Yeah.
I found it. Yeah.
So it actually almost looks.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
God.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say, so yeah. That was the end.
Yeah. Okay. Hot sauce. Just, I was having a hard time hearing Alice, so hopefully headphones will help. Okay, so I've got a couple different ideas swirling around my head. Hopefully I'll be able to remember them all as soon as I start talking. So one, it looks like she might also benefit from that handler's a dummy exercise. She like caught that odor, and we didn't see, like, it seems like, and this reminds me of Niffler. He does the same thing where like he's like, this is really hard, so I caught odor, and I'm not really sure if I'm gonna bother telling you about it because this was long and it was.
Yeah, she just kind of stood still. Yeah.
Yeah. Versus Barley is like, this is really hard and I caught odor, and by God, I'm gonna tell you about it.
Give me the fucking ball.
Yeah, like, and he might like fringe or do something else, but like he's gonna tell me about it. And that like may actually be kind of related to the drive thing.
Yeah,
because,
well,
like
she
a dog,
definitely-
she is lower.
I mean, I am actually gonna swap her to ball cheese because she learns things in one rep with food. Like you can literally use kibble. Like it's just
Oh,
insane.
yeah.
I'm like, but the way the trainer, the way they were trained, like they always use ball. So that's
Right.
what,
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
that's one thing.
Okay, so that's one. I think, just that last little bit that you highlighted, like, yeah, she caught that odor and she was just kind of like, meh. So maybe
Look, I
switching
know
food,
where
maybe
it
just
is.
doing the exercise, doing the exercises, we'll see.
Uh-huh.
And
Love
then the other thing you said is as you're kind of walking across the plain grass, you were like, I'm not sure if I can't tell the difference in this change of behavior, if this is because she is not used to searching grass like this, and so she just thinks there's nothing there, so she's not working, or if it's because there's genuinely no odor there. That we can run an experiment on. So if we put stuff out in a much smaller, easier search in the short grass, we'll see whether or not she understands to work in short grass. When she should be hitting odor, we'll see if if she chose it. Especially like early in a search.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we can just kind of run a little experiment there to see if that's a lack of understanding about searching in grass, or if it's tiredness, or what. By kind of intentionally
Like,
putting
if I
it in short grass in a shorter search. Go ahead.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so the other thing I've noticed, like in the yard, she both of them actually, they just kind of like jog over the grass and then like, oh, some bricks, oh, a tree,
Yeah,
and then I guess grass, oh, a wall, like.
Yeah, and
So,
like,
yeah.
and I think we've talked about this before. I'm not sure if this was a call that you were on or not, but like dogs are going to check scent collectors.
Interesting place.
Yeah, because the odor is either going to get caught in a strainer, or it's going to be in an eddy behind something, or whatever. So they are going to naturally target those things. And then if we like really build that up in our training by placing things in those things, that's a tendency that makes sense to me. Are you going to be searching in like a really barren desert environment or really short grass for your work?
No, not exactly. I don't think I put it on this device, but it's like so the next project, it's more that I want them to search whatever entire area we're in and not like be skipping over places. Like, so just kind of to fill any holes in that.
Meg, are you, is Meg
There
breaking up for everyone else?
One project that we may be certain lives that if we get through to
Okay. Meg, I think you're back
okay,
now.
okay, I can turn my video and see if that helps.
Okay.
The so the majority of searches no, but there are some like areas that are like developments and that we need to clear to make sure they don't have some certain species on it, which might be kind of boring to search.
Yeah.
And the tortoises, the endangered species, would just be like in a dip. So they do need like, and the dip is a scent collector, and so hopefully they would like look in there, but there might also just be a hole in the grass, or they'd be just like under something.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to kind of make sure we had a bit of a better like consistent focus.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I think that also seems to me to be pretty approachable. And the nice thing is like short grass is not necessarily something that you're necessarily going to struggle to be finding as a training area. So that's actually a nice sort of thing to be struggling with. Easy. Yeah, that's like a nice easy thing to try to have to find. Because we can just, basically work on teaching her that is also a searchable area. And it might take some amount of reps to just kind of counteract all of the learning history. But I find that usually once dogs kind of learn that something is potentially on, if they're kind of sufficiently motivated, they do tend to run with that pretty easily.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So does anyone else have any other thoughts on Miss Evie and Meg, did you have anything else that you wanted to specifically talk about that I missed?
I don't know, just if there's any other like creative ways to build search time, or like think about structuring multiple sessions to build search time that aren't just like because she's already like at a reasonably long level, like it's not like I'm building from like a minute up. I'm just trying to think about like keeping her motivation high while extending it out.
Yeah, so what I've been doing with Sniffy is not just so my like stepwise thing I've been trying with him, and I am not an expert in this, and I think a lot of the answers for expanding search time are just it's grind, it sucks, and it's just long practice sessions. I hate expanding search area, but what I've been doing with Niffler,
I don't mind the long sessions. Yeah, I kind of like watching them search, so I'm like, finally I don't have to do some like boring exercise.
I think I have to remind myself that training my dog is part of my job, and that like stepping away from email or refusing to schedule a meeting because I need to train my dog is not irresponsible and frivolous. It's actually kind of the most important thing. So I think most of my hangups on search duration are because I just get anxious about like being away from like real work for too long, which is again kind of ridiculous. And I need to like get it like tattooed on my forehead that like training your dog is your job. Just because it's fun doesn't mean you're not allowed to do it.
Yes, that maybe I'll get that on my arm. Like it's okay.
Yeah, maybe not my forehead because I won't see it that much. But okay, so anyway, so what I've been doing with Niffler, and I think I'm liking this plan so far, is so right now he's kind of stuck at this like 15-20 minute hump. And so I did a 15-minute search with him with 4 hides. And then the next
multiple hides.
I did a 15-minute search with 2 hides. And then now the plan is to bump up to 18 with 4 hides. Because I did bump up to 20. No, I bumped up to a half hour with 4 hides, and he missed the second 2. So, and that was partially a little bit of a test to be like, all right, so 15 we're good, 30 we're definitely not good. And he missed the second 2 hides. So by basically like looking at you can modulate the number of hides and the duration. So you can kind of like step up the duration, then step down the number of hides, then step up the duration, but step up the number of hides. And then like kind of like step that up. With the caveat that then like what we saw last night with Maddie and Bruce, you know, just knowing that like more hides can also make a longer search harder in a way, like it keeps the motivation up,
Because
but
of
it
it, yeah.
gasses the energy more. So like the reverse stepwise may be true if like literal physical stamina is the dog's problem versus like focus and enthusiasm. But I'm pretty sure for Niffler that for him, his problem is like focus and enthusiasm more than like literal physical stamina.
Yeah, I mean, I might do some conditioning with her as well. Dallas is like the fittest dog in the world. I'm not worried about condition at all, but Evie could potentially benefit from a bit more condition.
Yeah, I mean, they always can. I mean, I'm always surprised how I can watch Niffler like sprint up and down the beach while I'm surfing for like 2 hours. Ooh.
Yeah.
And then I take him on like a 15-minute search and he looks like I just asked him to run the Iditarod. So, which
Yeah.
I think, which by the way, is what he wants to career change into. He has told me multiple times.
He wants to be a sledding dog.
Yeah, Alice, I know you've got your hand up, but this is funny. I was approached in a Home Depot when I had Niffler in a Home Depot with me in Whitehorse, Yukon, by a man who trained sled dogs, and like I had Niffler with me. I was buying like God knows what to try to fix like a leak in the van's roof or something. And this guy was like, "That's a really nice dog. It looks like he's intact. I've got a bitch, and I breed sled dogs." And like Niffler was like literally solicited by like an old time sled dog dude in a Home
That's
Depot.
great.
Yeah, and I didn't do it.
Oh, you should have. You would have had all these like Niffler sled dog babies. It would have been awesome.
I'm gonna go to my deathbed regretting that one. Because yeah, I think I hadn't gotten his hip testing done yet or something like that. I was like, oh no.
Okay.
Like I don't they don't care.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So anyway.
It's a bit random. Like you wouldn't have a plan for that. He was just like that one. That's the one I want.
I mean, I think
awesome.
Niffler's booty muscles just speak for themselves.
That's all he cares about.
Yeah. So anyway, Alice, what's going on?
Okay, now I have to remember what I was going to say.
Oh no.
All right, so I one of the classes that I took this up at the Karen Fryer Ranch where Ken Ramirez lives, and it was with Ken Ramirez and Susan Friedman, and it was all about collecting data to influence your training. So what I think is the thing to look at here, because if it's not a stamina problem, then it's rate of reinforcement. You know, the dog is only interested for so long, and the rate of reinforcement is so low that the dog loses interest. So you need to find out, okay, now in this video, you said maybe she was good for 10 minutes and then she got bored or tired or disinterested or whatever you want to call it. So if you know that, then she needs to get reinforced at about that time. And the other thing,
this one was a test, so I could figure out how long, basically.
Right.
That's why I did the longer search.
but I'm going to propose something different than 4 hides in 15 minutes or whatever. I'm thinking that okay, and the other question would be, what is her, after she finds something, like when she found that last one finally at 13 minutes or 15, whatever it was she enthusiastic then, and would she have continued to search enthusiastically, and if so, for how long?
I mean, she was super pumped about the ball, but I
Right.
don't know because it was
Okay,
dark
okay.
and I needed to
That's
search
right.
down, so I traded out dogs.
So that's another piece of data to look at. How long does she stay motivated after she finds something and it's time, and she's looking for the next one, or does her enthusiasm go down like within a couple of minutes again or something?
I did one the other day where she did an 8-minute, and that was actually perfect because right when I saw she was maybe slowing down, she picked up odor, got it, and then we played. So it was like very serendipitous.
Right.
And then after that, I noticed that she was really happy to search again, but she got tired a bit earlier, around like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We've just been doing some playing around with. I've also done a bunch of short searches this week,
Yeah.
but like I've been trying to benchmark her.
So what I would do is have a hidden piece of Kong, if you can, if she's not going to come over to you because she smells it.
She
And-
probably will.
Oh,
But
well, maybe she
but
can
I
learn
can think
that-
about it.
that- yeah, and then just when you see, just before you think she's going to get tired, don't wait till she gets tired. Just throw it out there, and so she can find it quickly, and then reward her and go back to searching. And then you can extend that time between reinforcements, but start out where she's always enthusiastic, where it's short enough that you never lose her enthusiasm, and then gradually slow down the rate of reinforcement to, whatever you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
really,
kind of what I do with Merlin and Toy. So that's a fun approach too. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
well, and Alice, I love your question and the way that you're pulling that apart of like, if
Yeah.
the question,
question.
if it's a focus question, then yeah, we should see like kind of renewed vigor after that reinforcement event.
Mhm.
But if it's a stamina issue, we probably won't, or it would like peter out really quickly after the reinforcement event, because you still might get a little bit of like woo, and then like it'll last like a minute
Yep.
or something.
But it could, the rate of reinforcement could affect how long she works after the find and after she gets reinforced, because she could be thinking, no, now that's the only one I'm going to find. Now I'm going to have to walk around here for another 10 or 15 minutes before I find something. So that could
Right.
be her mindset. And so she's not enthusiastic for very long, but I would just up the rate of reinforcement first till you can get 15 minutes of really enthusiastic work out of her, and then start diminishing the rate of reinforcement.
Yeah, I love that idea. All right. Anything else for Evie? Well, it's good to get to see a new dog, and gosh, we're really turning into like Black Labville over here.
I got a blonde one as well.
Oh, okay, good. It's funny when I was choosing the cover photo for this month. I like there was just like so many Black Labs in there. I was like, well, sorry, Yana, but like I can't pick Kiro. Like it's Black Lab month. It's been decided. I'm only looking at there's like 5 Black Lab photos and then like 2 other breeds, and I was like, well, it's got to be a lab. We'll maybe. I really
Sorry.
liked that photo of Kiro, so it might come back next month.
Woohoo!
Also this, before we move on to the next person, I just wanted to give y'all a little update on the Puma scat question that we talked about last night. Because I realized that I have a conservative detector dog who is trained on Puma.
Nicola!
Who I can
He just
ask,
has it for you.
who I can ask, does this seem like Puma to you? And
Yay!
he said yes to 3 out of the 4. And the one
Perfect.
that he said to was also the one that looked the weirdest to me. Although also was the
Perfect.
4th one, so I'm gonna ask him about it again later today, because he was also pretty hot and tired by the time I asked him about that one, because it was also like 11 a.m. in El Salvador. But yeah, so I feel good enough about 3 of our 4 Puma scats that I feel like I can train Scotty with them. I'm probably going to prioritize them for
Yay!
Scotty over Barley. But yeah, and it was cool to see Niffler. I should have filmed it, because it was I mean, it's not that interesting if you don't kind of know the backstory, but all 3 of the ones he alerted to, he like stopped and he was like nose to them, sniffing hard for a long time. Like he
Yeah,
really took a
interesting.
while to decide, but like he wasn't leaving it, and he wasn't necessarily confused, but the first one, he even like his weight was shifted a little bit back. Like that first one, he was a little bit like, whoa, I'm not 100% like almost again. I mean, we see these sometimes with these big carnivores where the dogs are kind of like,
Yeah, interesting.
so yeah. And then the fourth one, he sniffed it, didn't seem as interested, walked away from it, looked at me. When I paused, then he downed. So it was like a kind of ambiguous response. It was much less clear than the other three. But anyway, so, you know, I'm glad that we have the genetics as well. But I don't know why I didn't think of asking Niffler earlier.
I'm excited to see Niffler's like non-generalization be a superpower.
Right, yeah. But I think it was a good lesson for him too, when he took a long time to think about it, and then like the second he downed, I was like, woo! And that's why I gassed him out, because I just threw like a huge party. Because that's, you know, it's a puma from an entirely, I guess not different continent, but like very, very different sample. So it was a big deal for him that he decided that he liked it.
Briefly, while you guys are mentioning the puma scat, one of my contacts said to reach out to the the Fund for Animals Wildlife Center in Ramona, which is about an hour and a half east of San Diego, that they have coyotes, bobcats, sometimes bears, and mountain lions.
Heck yeah.
So they're captive, but you know, better than nothing type of thing. And
yeah,
whatever they've got, you know, maybe it'll be more than we need for some of the species, but you know, might be something else. So another tail to chase.
Yeah, I really feel like at one of these years, months, I don't know, it would be a really smart thing for me or someone else in the conservation dog world to just start like really befriending like a carnivore keeper at a zoo, and just be able to have like your contact where you're like, I got my buddy at the Denver Zoo, you know, they've got like this list of species, and I know, like, we know them, and we could like it. Now I'm just like, I need to just start making friends with some of these people so that when I reach out with the request, it's not weird to them. Go ahead.
The one caveat though is like, what zoos do you know have mountain lions, bobcats, and even black bears? They have sun bears and grizzly bears.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, you know, I've got one near Bakersfield. I've got the California Living Museum near Bakersfield that has all those native species.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, and like, I'm not saying that you're gonna have like one contact at one zoo that has all of them, but like the Denver Zoo does.
Sure,
they've got mountain lion, moose, grizzly. I think they've got Mexican
Just go to
wolves,
the zoo
but-
conference. Just go to the zoo conference.
Ask them for
Just
all their
like-
samples that they did the research on.
No, just buy people a beer and be like, oh my God, I do this. You have carnivores. Can I have your poop? And they'll be like, come and get it. I don't know. because
exactly. Like
I've been an
think the
ecologist for so long. Like,
the like very basic realization that I'm having now is just like, oh, this would be so much easier if I had made an initial contact at first and like knew who to reach out to. The only zookeeper I know personally at this point, or well, no, I know a couple at this point, but like they're just not in charge of the right species, and it would probably make sense to try to befriend like the head carnivore keeper, or like
carnivore,
you know, someone who's a little bit higher up. Like the two friends I'm thinking of, one is like a wolf keeper at a wolf rehab center too, so they only have wolves. And then the other is a snow leopard specialist who, like, I think she also works with like their Amur leopards, but like either way, those aren't species that we need.
no leopards.
I know.
You know, that reminded me of.
We might
there's a
say.
zoo- There's a zoo, I think it's in Western Colorado, and I can't pull up the names right now because I can never do it on a moment's notice, but the guy in charge of the cooperative care training works as one of Susan Friedman's TAs in her living and learning with animals class, and she's always going out to that zoo to help with training problems, and that would be an excellent way to get a contact in Colorado anyway.
Totally.
Right. No, I mean, I love the idea of just going to an AZA conference and just, because then, like, honestly, what would be great would just be to have, you know, a list somewhere of people that at least, even if you vaguely remember them and they don't remember you, you could at least be like, I've got your email because we met at this conference. You may or may not remember, we talked about the dog thing, like, I need some poop.
So
Yeah.
I just want to say, I don't know if everyone gets this, but like, you would be surprised how helpful people would be at like art. You just like, I just literally ring people up and ask them for shit all the time.
Yeah.
The
That's
only thing I can't get is bat carcasses because there like literally aren't any for some reason in WA.
Yeah, because
Kayla, when you're in Oregon, there's the wildlife safari, which you should check out anyway because it's really cool. It's like a drive-through zoo type of thing. And then also the Wildcat Ridge Sanctuary is like an hour away from Corvallis.
Oh, perfect. Well, and actually, so the other update is I emailed Tall asking him about these scats, and he got back and was like, yeah, we've got a bunch. How long, when do you need them by? You know, that's the only question he had is like, I'm just not 100% sure which freezer they're in.
Sure. Freezers.
Like, there's so many freezers. I have to go looking.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, again, they're gonna have been stored in plastic. They're gonna have been frozen. They probably, you know, I'm sure they're being handled with gloves on at least, but like, you know, they're not perfect, but imperfect black bear is better than no black bear.
I mean, like, yeah, you could. I wonder if there's any just like hot spots where they're definitely going to be heaps of black bears. Like, because if I was in Canada, I would just like roll up at the Banff golf course and like go get some poop.
Well, that's, yeah. I mean, if I was going through my hometown, I would just go
Just
walk
get
through an
heaps,
apple
right?
orchard.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I wonder if there's anything like that, like nearby.
I'm sure
or
there
maybe
is.
out-
Well, and
California.
I think I mentioned this last night, but like part of my job on Wednesday, I believe, of this coming week is I'm going out with the bride and we're picking wildflowers for everyone's bouquets.
Okay, you're like, can we wildflower at this bear hotspot?
I'm like, how close to like huckleberry patches are we gonna be? Like, am I gonna find some bears? Like, she gets it. She's like, this poor girl has known me since 2012 and like has watched the entire evolution of this. Like when I
Awesome.
messaged her and was like, hey, do you mind if I bring a +1 to your wedding? It's another dog.
It's
She
a
was like,
dog.
Got it. Yeah, the more the merrier. Like, of course you're bringing another dog. Like,
It's awesome.
yeah.
Like, it's not a person. I've got their food. It'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no food. My person's visa still is not approved, so
Sad.
yeah. Okay, so who else has video?
I have one. Do you have one, Emma?
Yeah, you can go ahead, Alice. Yeah.
Or you were here first. You go first.
Okay. I will make it pretty quick. So I posted this in the Facebook group, so you might have already seen it anyway. We have been working on eliminating the Jasper's attempts at licking the bat. But in this video, I was trying to capture like what the heck is he actually doing? Because I had a feeling like he's not trying to taste it, like he doesn't want to eat it. It looks like he's just trying to scent and like confirm what it is. And it definitely happens more frequently. Like if we do multiple searches, it's more likely to happen in a later search. Like it's almost never the first or second search. And so, you know, in the Facebook group, we were talking about like, okay, maybe it's, you know, anticipation, like he's getting more excited that his reward's going to come. So there could be a little bit of that mixed in with maybe he's getting tired or whatever. So he's getting, he feels like he needs to be more, like confirm it better. So let me share this. then here. Wait, can you see it?
Yo puse la crema hoy.
Alright, what's happening? Okay. Can you see this?
Infinite
Are you
Kayla's.
trying? Is Daniel trying to like suffocate you with hot sauce?
No, he's being
Kayla?
eaten alive by mosquitoes, and I was
Oh no!
I got eaten so badly yesterday that yeah,
Alpha
I-
picante.
I look like I've got chicken pox right now. Something hatched. And it's the start of the wedding,
no.
so we're just in
Perfect
like
for the
bug
wedding.
hell.
Perfect for the wedding.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a week for them to die down.
Oh, love dog.
Can you see when I go over to the screen or not?
Yes, yeah, that's good.
I can see it.
I don't know. I don't know how to optimize it for video, so let's see if it works or not, because it's
Okay.
pretty short. Oh, so these are really short searches too. They're like in the backyard, so it's like a minute long. So it's not like he's going for 10 minutes or anything like that.
So it is a little choppy, Emma. I think to optimize for video, what you're gonna have to do is unshare. And then as you go to share and you choose whether you're going to desktop or whiteboard, that's where you click the optimize for video clip. Oh, nope, and I just shared my screen, didn't I? Yes.
Oh, Polly.
Yep, there's Barley's. I should probably update my computer background to also have Niffler on it, huh?
No, you don't have to.
All right.
So
go ahead.
I'm just coming up with a question of
Okay
like,
to have a favorite.
is it sharing the entire screen or the group call? Like, I don't see that option that you're talking about.
On my iPad, when I share the screen, I pick the screen, and then it like does something, and then it pops up some options. I think it might be different depending what device you're on.
That could be true.
Now it's saying it's preventing the access to sharing screen, so that's fine.
Is that my fault? No. Do you want me to try?
Sure. Here, I'll put the link in the chat.
All right. Let's see. How is this coming through? Is it super choppy?
I can't see it yet.
Oh, well, that would. Can anyone
Now
see
it's
it?
going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Still really bad.
I mean, at least you could see him moving.
It wouldn't matter except we're trying to see the like moment of the tongue flip.
Yeah. Why don't why don't we do this? Everyone watch it on your own screen.
Yeah,
That it's-
I do a little slow-mo at the end so you can catch it better. It's like
It's
as
so good on my screen.
I wonder if there's a video platform or a group call platform that is better for sharing video than Zoom. Like, and maybe we should just switch to that.
Oh, that is a good question. Oh, I just saw it. It was almost
Yeah.
after he decided to alert.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, it is, and it's funny. So in my head, I thought he was licking as he was approaching the bat, but it actually was a sniff and then
No,
a
it's
lick as
yeah.
he lifted.
Yeah.
It varies.
It
So
varies.
that's what I'm trying to like figure out. Yeah. So I think the reason I didn't notice it before was because it was looking like this.
Okay.
And when I noticed it was when I was teaching him, I was imprinting him on this plant, and the plant literally stuck to his tongue, and I was like, whoa.
Oh, what happened?
So I think he just like did that and happened to catch his like the underside of his tongue on the plant, and that's how I was like, what is going on now? So occasionally, yeah, he does it like right when he is sniffing it, and then I feel like it's more often that it's like this where he's like as he's leaving the bat, he's flicking his nose.
So my inclination now that we've seen this in slow-mo is I don't think this is the problem.
Okay.
I think that this is like an amount of like licking, nose licking, like he's not, if this video is like pretty typical, it does not look to me like he is like targeting the target with his tongue or like actually licking the target. It does not look to me like a big scary precursor towards like starting to eat it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And you're not working on a project where your target is potentially super dangerous to lick. Which like honestly also like mucous membranes on tongue versus mucous membranes on nose, like I you know, dog safety wise, if it's that big of a deal for them to lick it, they probably shouldn't be sniffing it either.
Sure, yeah.
And you're not working on a project where any amount of potential saliva contamination is like automatically a huge deal. Like obviously like
right.
you sometimes need DNA confirmation on bats, but like one can imagine certain scat projects where like every single scat is going to need to be analyzed for this one thing that's like really hard to amplify, and like the SNPs are already like imperfect for this species, and like one drop of saliva would like definitely ruin every single sample, and they're like $500 a pop to amplify or something like that. Like I might drive myself crazy over this problem if that was your project, but it's not. And honestly, I would have to go back and watch videos of my own dogs, but I can't guarantee that my dogs aren't doing this.
Yeah. So I did like I went back to last year and I was like, hey, did we see this then? And yeah, every now and then I would get that tongue flick and I was like, oh my gosh, it's been happening this whole time.
Oh no!
The call is coming from inside the house. I am going to actually, like.
Caleb's just about to say that.
Hey, and I've got a solution. If you ever use your dog for something where it's not good for him to get saliva on it or something, those Outfox guards that I just bought for you, Kayla, they would solve the problem.
Yeah. And thank you for doing
Oh,
that.
like a training free solution. You're a genius today, Alex.
I think Alice is on it. Okay, let me see if I can
Yeah,
find...
you're really on fire today, Alex.
Okay, I'm really glad that you said that because that's kind of where I was leaning to. I was like, man, this seems like if it's like a reflexive response, like, and he's trying to gather information from it, like, I don't really want to like tell him to knock it off either. So, I mean, also, I have no idea. Like, it's so, since it is so sporadic and it happens so instantaneously, it's like I don't know how I would prevent it from happening.
Yeah.
Or for now, you could cover things with a real fine mesh. So,
Yeah.
you know, just get like a mesh bag and cut it up in pieces. And maybe if he can't actually touch it with his tongue, that'll change his behavior.
Yeah, we have been practicing. you know, like with the suet cage and with inaccessible hides. Every now and then I still see it like as he's leaving the target. So it's very.
Yeah, I don't know if that solution works for the post. I can totally see how that would work and why it makes sense if he's like licking like before. But after, I don't think it would really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I just picked like a random video from my YouTube channel, and Niffler does the same thing. So yeah, and I mean, yeah, I think you might be driving yourself nuts over something that isn't really an issue, which is delightful.
Oh yeah.
Understandable.
So
Yeah, I'll definitely keep like a close eye on it to see if we see, you know, more intentional licking.
yeah, but that really to me looks like like the one that you can see in Niffler's video looks more anticipatory to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I really think if they're not like kind of going for it, it's probably not a problem. I might start paying attention with my dogs, but I'm pretty sure. And honestly, especially actually the fact that both Paul Bunker and Anne McLoone commented, kind of being like, "Is it a problem?" Like, if both of them are saying that, I'm like,
probably not.
probably not. Yeah, especially because they're both pretty careful trainers. They're pragmatic, but they're both pretty careful. There are like. Well, I actually can't think of anyone that I would put in this category for scent work, but there probably exists some where there are some people who are kind of so laissez-faire that if they said something's not a problem, I wouldn't necessarily believe them. But yeah, especially that we're 2 for 2 from them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yay! One less thing to have to focus on. So.
Yay! Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Now I'm pretty much just working on the stamina side of things, like Megan too. So, I have also found that having, you know, like a few hides, not like an excessive number, but not just one, like tends to keep him going the best.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Alice. We're gonna work through you, and then we're gonna go because I need to go eat some ceviche before I leave the tropics.
All right, so.
Ceviche.
Let me share my screen. Screen 1, there it is, share. Oh, I have a little checkbox at the bottom left. When I click share screen, it's giving me options of what to share of different windows. And then it has a little checkbox that says share sound and optimize for video clips. So I'm going to check both of those. Okay, so the first thing is the screen. This is the article that you gave me the link to, Kayla, that's showing the search pattern training, which is what I've been trying to do. Okay, so I've got 5, they're mason jar lids, and so I've got them a little bit more than 2 yards apart in a straight line. So that'll be the first thing you see on the video. And then Greta is in a pen that's like over here. Because I want to orient her to, okay, when you start searching, I want you to search in a straight line away from where you are released. So that's why I'm doing that. And then I'm going to this offset line, and I've got 10 lids, 5 and 5 offset like this. And so she does a few interesting things in the video that I'm going to show you, but I just wanted to show you the setup first. The other thing I'll mention first is they talk about training on leash. So first I'm trying her on leash, but she has really her own style, and it's a really windy day, and she doesn't want to go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. She just wants to catch the odor and find it. So I want to see what you think about that too. So let me start the video. Do-do-do-do. Okay, here it is. And here, play on YouTube. Okay. Okay. So this is the first one. Five jar lids in a row. She has no trouble with that.
That's a much snappier alert than we've seen in the past couple videos too. That looks really nice.
Okay, now I've got the staggered lids and I'm putting her on leash and I'm taking her and I'm showing her the pattern here. Okay, now go to this one, now go to this one, now go to this one. She doesn't want to go to the next one. She smells it.
Right. I would say if they catch odor, especially on a really windy day like this, let them go.
Yeah. Okay. So. Okay. So now I took her off. And she said, leash thing isn't working. She's kind of staying in the right area. Oh, I guess I did another one on leash. Okay. On this one, she sat a little too far away. So I just asked her, where is it?
Good girl.
Now there she almost sat and she changed her mind.
Thought about just using her memory there and then remembered about her nose.
Yeah. She's like, oh,
This one is the weirdest one. She sits, and what I do is I don't give her a mark. I don't say yes. I don't say yes. Fun sits. Okay, now it's not there, so I'm walking it out there, and I'm going to check it like I'm checking it. And she changes her mind and keeps going.
Yep. That's not unusual for false alerts. If they kind of.
There, but she gets it.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So on that one, I mean, I wasn't walking. She doesn't have any experience that I'm walking out to tell her no. The only time I ever walk out there is to give her a treat. So I don't think she changed her mind because of something I did. Although if you see anything, let me know.
I see the same thing with dogs when they're fringing odor or working off memory, where their alerts, like they'll often kind of give up on their alerts pretty easily as you go to start checking them. And it's not necessarily because they think that you're coming to correct them or anything like that, but I see that pretty often. So I think that's relatively typical for kind of false or mistaken alerts, might even be the right word in this case.
And this is the first time we've done it in this area with those staggered lines. So I'm hoping just more experience and she won't do that as much.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got a couple things right off the top here. I think one, if possible, I would like to switch you to something that is more 3D visible right now. So whether that's cardboard boxes or Tupperwares or PVC pipe, I would like something that she can visually target, because I think that's going to really help teach the patterning a lot better. The mason jars might work if you were in an indoor agility field with like flat mats, but you're outside. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
So that would be the first. And then what I would do with this is, I don't care whether you do this in an indoor training room, if you've got access to one that works, or in the backyard. but I would want to get to the point where she is targeting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, however many you've got in a straight line, like repetitively, clearly, cleanly. You know, I want to see that she is going like, not this one, not this one, this one, and very clearly checking and targeting them before we start staggering them. And I think those two things are going to come together. So it's both getting something that's more visible to get her to know to check it, and then doing more practice in the straight line. On a day like this with the wind, then you just need to make sure that your line is also perpendicular to the wind, because otherwise she'll just be able to catch odor from the downwind side and go to the correct one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, now I'm wondering, do you think the discrete is basically like a container exercise that you do
Yeah.
in nose work?
Yeah.
Is that going to help her in the field? Is that really? I'm
Yes,
just a
because you're
little
teaching fun.
hesitant because I don't know if that's going to help her in the field to really just take away her enthusiasm and her independence of how she wants to search.
My thinking with this is that we're basically using it to teach her a pattern, and we can wean off the wean them. Oh, it was weird. Niffler just got very mad about something. Where is Berla? Gracias. Gosh. Yeah, we're using it to just teach a pattern and just teach a skill. So it's not something that she's gonna have to work through forever. And part of the reason that we want to be using the visible containers. Barley, come. Hey, buddy. He's too lazy to get up now, but he's mad. One moment. Okay, we're still borking, but Barley. Gosh, now I've lost my train of thought, but I think I got my main point across. Does that make sense, Alice?
Well, you were saying that it's not. We're teaching her a pattern that she'll be using when she's searching a field, but of course the field will be much bigger.
Yes.
What this has already done is she knows it's in that area, and she's not going like 50 yards away from the area to find it. She's staying in that area now, which I'm happy about. I just don't know what she'll think if I just pattern her till she'll, shall I just keep her on leash? I mean, it just seems like.
I think about
I
it as a
actually, the
separate
reason, part of
skill.
the reason I
Teach
want the visible containers and I want to use
Yeah.
the containers is to eliminate the leash so that you're not part of the picture.
Okay.
So we can
I can
use,
use mason jars like they did in the test.
yeah,
But well, but that's kind of like a different exercise if you're confining the scat in the. Oh, the other thing is I found a red Kong in my collection of junk, and so I'm thinking about cutting it up and changing her over to Kong pieces like everyone else does. So I might want to do that before I mean, I could continue with the scat. Would it work? Can I continue with these searches and at the same time imprint her to something new?
you sure can. I don't think the target odor choice is part of this question right now. If you
Right.
want to have her on Kong for other reasons, because it is easy to work with, that's great.
Yeah.
And you can absolutely imprint on that separately. But yeah, I mean, so the idea of getting her pattern onto this is, as I said, that'll reduce your need to be in there guiding her with a leash. And we can then also, so I know right now it feels like we're confining her to an area, but like first we have to get her to know to check these things. Then we have to use them to show her how to quarter. And then we're going to start spreading them further and further apart. And use that to expand search area. Oh, he found his llama. And again, like the goal with this is to work on patterning and pacing with the environment teaching her that lesson rather than you or leash pressure. The other way to do this would be to do it much more gun dog style, where you're literally teaching her like forward, left, forward, right, forward, left, forward, right. Or yeah, that's how it would go. And that's how Paul Bunker does it. He gets the dogs whistle trained and works through, that style. Personally, I think I like this idea better because we're teaching the dog a strategy that they will then know how to use, and we're not directing them, so that they can also modify that strategy accordingly, based on their environment and based on what they're encountering. And we're not having to like direct them, and then they're having to like learn the difference, learn when to selectively disobey, our whistle command or something like that.
Okay, so Kayla, do you feel that it's important? I mean, the only way to get her to quarter to go, from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next in sequence is to have her on a leash and just show her over and over again. Because right now
No.
she can see.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
she can see the lids on the ground. She knows that her target is on one of those lids, and she sees the lids. So she's looking only on the lids, but she's not going back and forth between the rows.
Yes. So
So
and
that's
part of
what
that might be
doing
because
now.
of the amount of wind, but that's why I want to start in a line. And we're not going to start introducing the quartering until she knows to check one, then the next, then the next, then the next. And potentially part of the problem with the lid is she will be able to see which lid has a scat on top of it and which doesn't. So that's why I'm thinking something that is more occluded, so she can see what she needs to go check, but she has to get her nose on it to know whether or not that scat is there.
Okay,
And that's again what I really want to see, that like nice lineup behavior of she's checking one, going to the next, checking the next. And
think
that should
she's
not
doing
happen
that.
with leash pressure. That should not be taught through
Right.
you at all. That is
I think
just
she's doing it
repetition.
on-
Go ahead.
she is doing the line pretty well off leash.
Okay.
I'll work on it a little more just to make sure, and I'll change the containers. But the past few training sessions, she has been doing just a single line and she's checking them.
Cool.
So
Then what
this
we can
was just the
start
first
doing,
time.
once we get that really nice line, then what we might want to start doing is having them like, very close together, but staggered, and then continue moving them further and further apart. So that's
Okay,
my thinking right now. And again, I'm a couple of months behind you, but Niffler and I are going to be working through the same thing. So I have not yet done this strategy. I think I understand how I want it to go. Having read the paper, and I like kind of immediately being like, oh, I think this is going to fix a problem that I have with one of my dogs. But you're experimenting a little bit right now, and we're trying to figure out how it's
Sure,
working. But
sure.
that's my thinking right now.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, of course. All right, anything else from anyone for anyone?
Thanks, Kayla.
Yeah, no, I'm glad this worked out. And yeah, we're gonna hang up now and go get some ceviche.
All right, enjoy.
All right.
Thank you. I'll see you guys later.
Oh, and our next
Bye,
call
everyone.
is the 27th, I believe. And that's just the like social all student call. If nobody has anything to talk about, we'll be giving an update on our California work.
The 27th of this month?
I believe so. Yes. Let me
Okay.
double check my calendar.
Have a good Friday, everyone.
Yep, the
Okay,
27th
bye.
of this month at this time.
Okay, great, thanks. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.